need to follow your mom on Facebook, Skyler.
I called it! I called it!
It's so funny.
That was just telling everyone that we were talking about this.
That is literally what he said earlier. He's like, Dijon's gonna get on and be like, "You're Skyler, your mom."
She's got some nice fake.
Welcome to CD Lost Tapes, episode 16. I am your host, Uncle D, the one that usually hosts it. Yes, Killer Keemstar.
Let's get Roy into the news.
Joined this week by some very noisy CD members. This week I'm joined with Tristan.
Hello.
Preston.
Hi.
Star.
Is this thing on?
Fortunately. Later on, /now/later on, Dijon. I think Will.
Hello. Hi.
And Skylar's here again this week.
I can tell the story about my today while I was at training, like at work, because they don't care if you have your phone out, because it's just in between like the rolls of film being rolled. I was just sitting there fucking making the the bag, just sitting there on my phone. I saw the podcast came out, which I still need to share to my story. I was fucking talking to the Halo man, because he's like a big gamer and shit, obviously, and he was sitting the whole time he's training me. He's like, "You smoke weed?" I'm like, "Used to." He's like, "What? Used to? Why not?" I was like, I told him why, and he's like, "You should smoke weed." I'm like, "Yeah, maybe one day." He goes, No, like, come on, smoke weed." He's like, it's kind of weird. My trainer is just telling me to smoke weed. He's like, "Dude, not even gonna lie right now, I'm high as shit." I was like, okay. He's like, I got this dab pen. I mean, like, yeah, you want to hit it? I was like, "Nah, dude, I'm definitely not hitting that. I haven't smoked in like a month, and also I'm not smoking weed."
Definitely not getting super blazed.
Yeah, or just in general, because just one hit of that medical shit is just gonna put me on my ass, and like I don't need to be smoking weed. Like I said, I'm sober man for now, probably for a while. So I make the Missouri move.
Fuck yeah.
Which will probably be like 2 years, I'm guessing, honestly. It's quite a bit of time, but like I want to see if I can work myself up like in the ladder here and see how I'll
I'm getting work experience too. That'll really help you for when you move, because you can be like, "Hey, yeah, I worked at a plastic manufacturing plant, fucking for fucking so long." Especially if you like keep the same job, that looks really good on applications.
Right, yeah. Especially because I don't
Not only
have
that,
a big
but it seems like right now you're getting some pretty good experience in like an industrial environment. So
it doesn't even feel like a factory, dude. For being a plastic factory, like, dude, it doesn't. It's the cleanest factory I've ever seen. There's like no fucking dust anywhere. Super nice. Everyone there is a gamer, chill as fuck. And I'm like, well, because I like immediately, I used to be like so awkward. I wouldn't even tell people I'm awkward. They just figure it out, obviously. That's like the first liner. Like when I'm like, "I'm sorry if I'm awkward. I'm just socially weird." And the dude, everyone's like, "Dude, you think you're weird? Wait till you meet this guy." Or like, was one of the dudes. I was like, "Really?" They're like, "Dude, he's fucking weird, but it's okay."
He's fucking creep, but we all love him.
And then they make my cousin, and then they got like this fucking dude that they make fun of. Not really make fun of, like they're all friends, but they call him a backdoor baby because he's like, "Dude, you can get pregnant from anal sex." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Oh, dude, yeah. What do you think happened to me? Like, you're a backdoor baby?" Call him the butt baby. And then there's this one virgin dude, right? Like he's like 20 something. He's a virgin, but he has a fiance, and they shower together. They've never had sex.
Dude, that has got to be brutal, man. Talk about the worst blue balls ever.
And he's super, like, I guess he's like a super horny dude, so he's always talking about beating off.
Just showering full man.
Right? I'm like, bro, like, and so they're telling him to put it in the back door, because, I mean, you're a Christian, I guess you want to save it for marriage, but that's what they want, whatever.
The classic internet.
The loophole, yeah.
I love Jesus.
Yeah, and the one guy's like, the one dude that I said was a butt baby, he's like, "Oh, dude, you can get pregnant from that."
Wait,
like,
there's a guy who says you can get pregnant from ass fucking?
Yeah, another Christian
That's
man.
not
So they make
true, dude.
fun.
I've never seen.
Oh no, it's not.
I've never seen Kane pregnant before.
It's because I usually pay for the abortion.
Oh.
So I don't think he's like serious.
Let it be known
so they call him the butt baby.
Let it be known that here at CD, we support abortion to the extent that we regularly pay for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I go out of my way to abort babies. I offer to pay for other people to have their babies aborted just because I think it's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah,
In fact,
I think it's
anytime,
cool. And it's a plus. They give me the sludge sometimes. That baby sludge.
Yeah, the
Sometimes they
babe
make edible
juice.
Sometimes they make
babe
edibles
juice.
with them.
I
Stem
often
cell edibles.
when I find a pregnant woman out in the street, I look at her and I go like, "So you trying to?" And
Yeah.
she's like, "What are you meaning?" And I'm just like, I point to her belly and then I fucking handgun,
Make a baseball
finger
swing.
Yeah.
Finger gun. So you do that. I just pull out a metal coat hanger.
She's like about burst too. She's like very, very pregnant.
I just X-ray her real
Like,
quick, kill her with radiation.
and then I like
She's like 13 months pregnant.
I'm like, and then I mimic dropping a ball on my foot, and hunting something. Just
I'll send her
You
down.
should have like a big Ghostbusters shot back on your back as well. Be like, I can suck it out right here, right now.
And while she looks
I can take
horrified,
care of it.
I'm like, how much do they cost anymore anyways? And I hand her a $5, and I'm like, this will cover it, right?
Yeah, like these things. I mean, I'm doing you a favor here.
Bro, okay, so like we were talking about the spit cans. My grandpa was notorious. Like this was like even when he had throat cancer, he decided, fuck it. I have a trachea put in my throat, and obviously we had this debate about, well, not debate, but everyone thought I was talking about like there was no such thing as a trachea, and they put one in you. No, they put like the trachea thing in your throat, put a hole in your throat.
Into your trachea.
Yeah, trach tube. Yeah. Well, my grandpa, he had his spit cans would literally just be like used green bean cans, and he would just rip the label off of it. It'd be green bean cans specifically. I swear to God, I've asked him like, why do you use the vegetable cans? I don't know, just collects better.
Popeye.
Literally, I swear, dude, I swear.
What I always did as a teenager, and like when I was in college, when I chewed tobacco, I would fucking fill it with paper towels, like a plastic, like Pepsi bottle or something, and then that's what I would use as a spittoon.
Splatoon. I love that video game. When you guys spit, spit on each other.
Yeah, that's my favorite part of that game is when it's all like spitting dip spit.
Spittoon.
Me spitting my lip out on my nearest opponent.
Yeah, my favorite animation is when the little squid girl fucking packs a fat lip, pulls out a can and packs it, one-handed and everything with the finger.
Dude, the nasty thing is like my grandpa would not spit out like the chew. Like he just drink his Milwaukee beer while the spit's in his mouth.
Oh, okay. Well, hold on.
Oh.
You spit out the spit, but you can drink while you have a dip in. That's not.
I mean, I don't. I've never dipped, so I wouldn't know.
That's like you learn how to do that pretty early on.
I had this fucking friend. I had this friend who stole his dad's dip, and fucking the funny thing, he literally took like a whole like half like of the container, and he was so nick buzzed, he threw up on his TV. But while what was on his TV is we were all like drinking, and he decided, fuck it, we're gonna watch porn right now. I was like, no, I want to watch this Apex video, because we were just like, Apex was like kind of big just then, it just came out recently. He's like, no, dude, this is gonna be funny, and he just put on like bondage spanking videos, and he was just laughing his ass off, like, oh, then that shit funny, and I'm like, no, I feel kind of awkward.
Bondage spanking videos.
Yeah, isn't this funny?
Why aren't you laughing? Your
Isn't this
ass off,
funny,
Skyler?
guys?
This is hilarious.
It's funny.
Skyler, why aren't you laughing?
He was laughing so hard that he
Adam
fucking leaned
Sandler,
back
get
and
fuck
broke
outta
the
here.
chair.
It's spanking videos this time, baby.
Broke the chair, almost literally choked on his throw up, and just kept at it. Haven't talked to him recently, or like in the past 3 years, because he's a dad now. I don't know what it is with kids from my school popping out babies like they're abortions.
Hopefully he's not doing any bondage spanking stuff to his child.
I'd hope not.
If so, he'd be laughing about it.
It'll be like the fucking, what is it? What's that designer brand that got in trouble recently, got a lawsuit?
Balenciaga or whatever.
Yeah, Balenciaga.
Yeah, because they had fucking kids in like bondage, like
That shit's
shoot
fucked up, dude. Those
shit or
people
whatever.
need to be put to the rope.
And the crazy thing is, like, everyone's like, no, it's just like cool, like, like these
It's
outfits.
like normal,
are kinda
dude.
cute.
It's like normal to fuck kids, man.
And then the fucking paper was literally like what, fucking lawsuit battle, like about
Yeah, like
pornography
child
or
porn
something.
as an art form or some shit.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen.
What? And
This is
how do you find that?
a bad segue, perhaps.
Oh, no, yeah,
appropriate time, but controversial opinion question:
I have an answer.
Are you for or against capital punishment?
I was
Oh,
just
like,
thinking about this
like
shit
put to
today,
death?
dude. I shit you not. I understand it sounds hypocritical because it's like, oh, you're, punishing an evil deed with an evil deed and, killing a murderer. It sounds hypocritical. But I truly believe that there are cases where it is the only solution. And I don't think it should be jumped to, I don't think it should be like the
Right.
first option. But there are many, many cases where I feel like putting people to death is much more convenient than having taxpayers pay for them to be locked up for the next 40 years.
And not be reformed or
Many such
anything.
cases.
Obviously, they're not really going to a certain degree.
Any such cases? No. So my opinion on it is kind of a weird thing. I am a believer that life in prison is a worse punishment than just execution, but
Depending.
sure,
If we didn't have to pay for it, I wouldn't have a problem with it.
This is the
does
exact
suck
thing.
to be locked up like a dog.
However, the other issue with this is I have a problem with how we currently do execution. Yes, it's humane the lethal injection's humane, but
No, lethal injection sucks. Firing squad.
that's the
Yep.
thing. Lethal injection is humane, but it's expensive and it takes fucking forever to get anybody executed. Fucking
Yeah,
hang him,
Look at me on death row
guillotine
for
him.
like 20 years.
Fucking, I think firing squad is probably the best way to do it.
No. Hear me out. We just need to go back to the old days. Like we bring 5 people out on the block and just fucking hang them.
Public executions.
Everybody gather around. Everybody come watch it.
Admittedly,
Yeah,
mob
everyone literally used to travel
can be
from far
pretty
for that.
big. Like that one fucking factory owner who raped and killed that little girl and then tried to pin it on the black dude because it was like the 1880s and everybody knew he was so guilty that they were like, and this is in the South, by the way, that they were like, nah, dude, you're guilty as fuck, and they lynched him.
I don't know. I think, I think public executions are negative if you're, like, it's not good for the brain to see that shit, you know? You shouldn't see that shit. It's the same way why, like, you shouldn't see the kind of shit we seen on the internet growing up, you know? Not just porn, but,
those
like,
live leaks.
all the gore and shit, you know, that a lot of us were even, like, into looking at one point, you know?
I never was into it, but I did have this one friend who was into it. We are no longer friends of stories I will not tell on the podcast. But I was just like, it was like the first time like I met them. It was my Xbox Live friends. Technically, I knew the one guy from school, and the other ones I played Xbox Live with them for like 2 years. I went over for the first time. I was like high off my like so fucking high, and I was just sitting there quiet because like I get socially awkward when I don't really like. I'm finally meeting someone for the first time, and I'm just not as high as balls. And these guys are, the one guy just goes, he's like, oh, look at this funny video. And it's just a video of this girl walking in the Amazon jungle, and these like pirates just snatch her up for a second and all chop her body up into pieces. Like, and I was like, is that real?
Pirates?
Like, oh yeah, dude, watch it, huh?
Was Jack Sparrow
Did you say
there?
pirates?
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
no, yeah,
fucking
they were
Black Pearl
pirates
sailed
in,
up the Amazon River.
They were all, I call them pirates because they were wearing shit like that, like,
I'm imagining like fucking Blackbeard, Cat Blackbeard.
no, okay.
Coming out of the fucking trees like
This
Tarzan
is
and
more like
chopping
the-
somebody with a cutlass.
Someone like the pirates from like, I'll say like Far Cry 3. I don't remember. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about. Wearing like the red like towels over like their face and stuff.
Yeah, this is more like the "look at me, I am the captain now."
Yeah, oh yeah, it was, yeah, like that. And they fucking just snatched her up, and there was 4 of them, and they each got a limb, and just started hacking with these machetes, bro, until she was nothing. I was like, bro, is that real? He's like, oh yeah, dude, this is fucking crazy. It's kind of funny. You want to see it again? And they played it without me even saying yes. And I was just like horrified,
Yeah,
like, sick to
and
my stomach.
I'm so glad. Like, there was a point in time where I was like that, and I'm so glad in retrospect that shit horrifies me again. Like, that kind of desensitization is just really, really bad.
Right. No, I agree 100%. Back to your topic about like the capital punishment. I definitely think like I don't think life in prison is the best when it comes to like people that are like they'll just live a good life even if they're in life in prison because they have connections like where they just like rich. Like I should say like prison rich where they can just like live a comfortable life. Some just have TVs and like PlayStations and shit. Like
Sure, it depends on
no.
the prison.
Yeah, of course it depends. Yeah, for sure. So like, no, but I get it to an extent because like you're literally making them sit there in like solitary confinement for the rest of their life. That, yeah, because that is fucking torture.
So, Tristan, and kind of everyone else,
Yeah.
but Tristan might know about this. Are you familiar with the name Dominic Milton Trott?
No.
Are you? So you might be familiar with a book he wrote called "The Drug User's Bible."
I was just okay. I literally was just watching a video on that the other day, fucking talking about safe drug use and shit. Yeah,
He wrote an entire book. He said he's tried basically every drug there is. He's done. I think he said like 359 different drugs.
That's gotta be terrible for you.
And he
Obviously.
he's
Well,
not
he does them all in a controlled, safe way.
Yeah, so he's like he released this book called The Drug User's Bible. That's basically like this drug, here's its effects, here's how long it lasts. If you're having a bad time, here's how to maybe get out of it. Here's the sort of safety procedures you should use, etc., etc. And it started off he was just like taking psychedelics, and then it got into more of like an exploration thing. And I think there's a lot of things he was just like, all right, let me just try meth once to see what it's like, right? He would do it, and then he would like document, his experience being fucked up on meth. And
What does he try fentanyl?
I think
He's tried heroin.
He's tried heroin, and he said heroin
He said it made him throw up.
He said it made him throw up, but it felt really good.
Oh, well, all right.
Didn't he literally have some like stereotypical description of it where he's like, yeah, it felt like a warm blanket.
Yeah. We do not support opioid and opiate abuse here at CD, but we have talked about.
We do find it incredibly hilarious.
Yeah.
I'll smoke
there's a video of
marijuana.
you shooting up and we'll react to it.
Yeah, we will
See?
react
Might be able to
OD
talk
clips
about
at cd@gmail.com.
like on here, because I have multiple OD stories.
Nah, I don't want to really. Well, we can talk about OD stories, but kind of a dark place.
Yeah, it is a dark topic.
Yeah, I guess that is true. And whoever that I recommend watch this is just gonna be like, oh my god.
I have a question for you boys.
Yeah.
Whenever you piss, do you hang your nuts over your pants, or do you like tuck them in and just have your dick out?
Okay,
That's
Definitely
gay.
my nuts
You
out.
gotta have your nuts out.
I have an
That's
answer.
what
here.
I'm saying.
I used to just pull the dick out, right? But
Yeah.
here's my issue. Oh god, I'm gonna want to edit this out. I'm a really fat guy, right? So as
Edit
you,
that out.
Right?
no, just let me finish the fucking story, dipshit. Come on.
believe I called
Edit that out.
on the podcast. Cut that now.
No, I'm probably gonna leave it in. But as you gain more and more weight, there's a region on your body called the fupa. Everybody knows what the fupa
Fat
Yes.
upper pussy
Yeah.
area.
Yeah. So as your fat upper pubic area gets larger.
Oh, I thought it was pussy, but yeah.
No, because men can have.
Yeah, true.
As your fupa gets larger, your dick gets smaller by proxy, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is a problem I have in my real life. So it hit a point where it wasn't as easy for me to piss if I didn't pull the whole package out.
Right.
So now I piss with my balls out. I gotta
Now,
like
this is why I piss with my balls out.
I have to piss with my
Explanation.
balls out because my weights cause my cock to shrink.
You gotta start doing cock lifts, dude.
Cock lifts, yeah.
Have you heard of joking?
Yeah, you gotta start jelking.
Oh boy, I
Dude,
wonder
saw
who
a
would have an
video- that
instructional
reminds me
video
of
for
something.
that.
I saw a video the other day online of somebody recording themselves like in a stall in a public restroom, and there was a special needs student, like they were in a high school or some shit. There was a special needs student in the stall next to them jacking off, and they were going, grow, 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 grow.
Wait, what? Oh, yes, yes. Grow. How much of those do you think?
Rise.
How much of those do you
Rise,
think
rise.
are
Rise,
likely?
my son.
Or what?
Or how much of that do you think is likely? Like, you're not short. God damn it! I was thinking of my dick.
Staged.
Staged.
Probably a good amount of them, just because I don't know. Like I've never encountered that, and I've seen a lot of retarded people.
Grow.
Grow,
This fucking-
grow.
This Down syndrome kid at our school, he fucking I've got two stories. One, when we were fucking like, this was actually two different people, but when I was in like fucking first, second grade, no, I think it was kindergarten or first, these kids on the playground, like my friends, were teaching the kid with Down syndrome how to cuss, and so
Bruh.
fucking we go back to class, and he just was cussing the teacher the whole time, like he wouldn't say anything but a cuss word, and the teacher was like, so you guys teaching him how to cuss? You know, like
No, we had nothing to do with that. That was Teletubbies.
I was like, I really didn't have anything to do with it. It was my friends. And I was like, no.
I
Anyways,
think I heard Bert and Ernie say that. I got into a big domestic abuse argument, and Bert said that.
Yeah, Bert called him the
Oh.
N-word.
now the other story is
Sesame
other
Street,
one
but
is-
every character's racist.
This was like
I
3
thought that
years
was
ago.
Sesame Street.
He for some guy taught him how to like just slap bitches' asses. Don't know why you'd teach him that. That's kind of not that sexual assault. So randomly he would just start grabbing bitches by the ass and just grab by the pussy. As fucking terrible as that is, he literally would, and he was not allowed to get in trouble for it. So he just start grabbing. He'd be at the water fountain, and he'd just be like, just fucking grabbing asses and pussies just left and right.
And they're like, oh,
You hear that, Republicards? This is what Trump's America has done
Yeah.
to your special needs population.
I think the worst story with him is they had a pizza shop that was not connected, but like literally across from the school. It was the school's like pizza shop kids could work at. Well, me and my friend just got pizza, and we're sitting there fucking playing PUBG Mobile. It just came out. We're playing it on our phones in the parking lot, eating the pizza. And this motherfucker, we see him walking like in front of the car. And we're like, please don't tell me he's gonna get in our car. His nickname is I'll just say that. I was like, please no, don't let come over here, because like nothing against him, but like you literally couldn't get rid of him if he saw you. And we just saw him like digging in his asshole, and we're like, oh no. And he comes in here and he just fucking opens the door and just grabs a handful of our pizza, and we're like, oh my fucking god, just take damn pizza. I don't know if he did it on purpose, like it was like his operation,
Like
was planned.
bioterrorism.
Yeah, right. But that's what he did. And then he sat in the back seat of the car and was like, what are you doing? And I was like, oh, I was eating pizza.
Yeah. Till you
Oh,
ruined it.
man, I have another with this guy, and well, every time it was like 7th grade, the pacer test, this motherfucker had to run with us the pacer test. and every time he'd run, he'd start just digging in their assholes. This motherfucker's just digging in his asshole. And like the more he was doing it, obviously he would literally lick his fingers while like after he did it, and then he would keep going. And while he was running the pacer test, like with us back and forth, his pants were going lower and lower and lower until the point where his cock and balls were just hanging out, just running, and all of the 7th grade girls were like, "Oh my gosh, his balls are and, like we couldn't do anything, but like the one kid's like started pulling his pants up for him, and I'm like, oh god. We ended up having like these heart problems, so our school was like, we're gonna have a fundraiser. I'm gonna say his name because I think he passed away. They're like, Team is what we call it. So they made our
names out anyways.
Okay, I don't know last name, so it's just everyone got free T-shirts from the school, and it was Jacob's face, just him, just like.
Wait, what did real quick? What did he have? Like you said, he passed away. Did he have some terminal illness?
I think he had just like cardiac problems, like he had a heart attack or something. And
so he might have had.
So they did heart surgery.
Like physically deformed and had like some kind of like heart deformity.
Yeah, and so like eventually, like we should never let him run the fucking pacer test, obviously. Well, he fucking it was after the pacer test, like a month or two, that like he was having the heart problems again or whatever. So they put him into surgery and stuff. We were making a fundraiser for our school, and it was like fucking. We got T-shirts, and it was just of his face. It said Team. And he loves Spider-Man so much, so it was just his Down syndrome face on a spider web. I swear, not even like Spider-Man's web, just a random spider web like that they stole off like fucking Google. And just
like a clip art image.
Yeah, that exactly. And then just posted it on there, and it said Team Jacob. And fucking, we had this fun day, and it was just like everything that Jacob likes to do, which literally he didn't like do any of that. I guarantee you, he didn't fucking play kickball or fucking run track. Like we did like track like activities, or like probably the balance house. I'd understand that, but we're in 7th grade. Why the fuck was I in a balance house? I'm too fucking big. All right. Well, and then the last one, they're like, so to be for like extra like the school, we're just gonna do something really, really fun. And then the principal's like, I want all of guys to just tape me to the wall. The fuck? They would tape you to the wall. So we just got duct tape, and we were each kid could put as much duct tape as they wanted on the principal, and we just stuck him to the wall, and he was there for like 10 minutes until he fell on his face. That was it. That was Team Day. I don't even think we raised any money, because who the fuck brought any money or donated any? None of us. We were 7th graders.
There's no people with Down syndrome in Sweden, because whenever they get pregnant, they genetic test every baby, and so whenever the genetics come out of like, hey, this baby has Down syndrome, they abort it.
Wow, it's kind of fucked up.
I have a quick question. Are you guys
counting his blessings right now that he was not born there?
Are you guys? What is your guys' opinion on like eugenics? It is purposeful breeding of humans for desirable or specific traits.
Oh, okay. So we call them designer babies in Ohio. I don't know what the fuck y'all call them. That's designer babies.
Okay, that's like the new age eugenics, because you can use like CRISPR and genetic engineering and shit. But back in the day, you just would take two people based off like appearance and like physical tests and shit.
So
have them have a kid, and in theory, the child should be like like have the best of both worlds.
Man-made horrors beyond my comprehension.
So I think there's
I think eugenics
fine
to a certain
line.
extent is almost necessary for a fully healthy and thriving society, because I feel like if you let certain like genetic deficiencies and shit ruin your gene pool, and you have a bunch of people walking around with like physical deformities or mental illnesses and shit that could have been avoided. I don't know. I feel like you're doing a disservice to future generations.
So here's the problem with having a eugenics discussion, right? So eugenics doesn't necessarily refer to
Uncle H.
Well, actually, eugenics more often than not refers to that, because the connotations of eugenics tend to be less of getting out the bad traits and more about getting in the good ones, and tends more often than not to really just hit racist shit. There's a difference, I think, between being like, okay, obviously, like there's a difference between being like, I as a human being don't want to have children with somebody if that means my child is going to have mental defects or physical defects or whatever. That's not necessarily eugenics. Eugenics, however, is being like, you can't have children with them. Eugenics tends to be an enforced thing, and it's an ideology, not a sort of like thought process, right? So I would say I'm against the idea of eugenics, but I also think that there is probably where there's
Eugenics.
yeah, eugenics, Mr. Krabs. There's a middle ground where maybe if it's self-imposed as a society and it's not necessarily targeting races or anything, maybe
Here's a thought experiment for you. I wanna preface this by saying that I am not an opponent or whatever, a proponent. I think it's an opponent when you're against something, right? Yeah. I'm not an opponent of like race mixing or like black and white couples or anything like that.
Right,
That
you're in a mixed race relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is Tristan is actually Chinese. His girlfriend is black.
Yes. Yeah.
One of those is not.
I'm not
true.
Chinese. I'm Japanese, dickhead. We're not all the same.
I'm sorry.
They say that finding organ and blood matches, like donation matches for mixed race children, is harder than it is for a white child or a black child. And I do think that obviously, like, there's some more medical work that needs to be done. That problem could be solved in the long term by just advancing like medical technology and shit. But right now, it is a problem. You know what I mean? Because there are children and shit, specifically with like think terminal illnesses where you need like bone marrow transplants or certain organs are failing. You know what I mean? Like a very small percentage of the population, obviously. But it is a problem. It's something that there are many families that are actively going through this problem, and it's like, well, what the fuck do we do? You know what I mean?
Sure, but the answer isn't, well, don't have children.
Hold on just a second.
This is Jesus Christ.
Lawyers calling him and saying, "Hey,
I can't believe
I'm back.
I can't believe somehow we're having an even. It's like every 8 episodes we have to have a really controversial episode.
I'm sorry. I just bring shit to the table sometimes where I'm like, dude, this will get the gears turning.
It's a fun thought experiment, but I think the stance.
I like the minds that we have on the podcast most of the time be able to bring that shit up and know that it's not going to be 5 retards in agreement. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like all of us, even if we all agree about a topic, we can all bring a different perspective to it.
I just think we're heading into dangerous territory when the topic is what do you, and then you kind of argue a roundabout, not direct way.
I play a devil's advocate with why. Why
now I get your point. I don't think anyone here is because once again, eugenics is like fucking selective breeding, like we're cattle, right?
Eugenics.
That's what eugenics are, and so that's sort of the problem. Anyways,
I mean, he still has the formula.
Yeah, the secret Krabby Patty formula.
Probably still running that crusty crab. You know why they call it crusty, right?
Yeah, because they have the nastiest, floppiest, dirty glory hole in town, dude.
How old were you guys when you realized that the secret ingredient to the Krabby Patty is crab?
I don't know. Same time that I realized Squidward's Suicide was a documentary.
What?
I think it's really cool that they took inspiration from real life pedophile Peter Scully for that.
I thought it was interesting, but I don't know if I'd call it
Squidward's Suicide?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
Yeah. You guys want to talk about Squidward's Suicide? The darkest episode in childhood.
Did any of you guys go through a creepypasta phase?
Well, I mean,
I told people I saw Slenderman for a while.
That brings me to a topic.
Yeah, I told like my cousins and shit. I was like, dude, I fucking saw Slenderman outside my house.
That brings me to a topic.
He's real.
I used to believe in Slenderman.
He goes, Tristan, find 8 pieces of...
You also weren't very smart.
Speaking of Slenderman, do you guys remember that time where that girl got stabbed
bad.
because like 2 other
girls like 18 times?
Yeah, she almost died. My grandma told me about that.
Because they
even knew.
Well, it's because it ended up on the news.
They was able to get on a computer.
They tried to sacrifice.
I don't actually mean that. Your grandma's probably a nice lady. I just wanted to be a dick.
Also, not only did they stab that girl, not only did they stab that girl 18 times, I think she survived.
She survived and crawled herself to hell. She crawled out of the woods.
I thought you said to hell.
She crawled straight to hell.
And it was like 2 of her friends trying to sacrifice her to Slenderman. Like,
yeah, which is I don't know about you guys. I know a decent amount about Slenderman. I never heard no clue where the fuck that comes from. Somebody. Yeah, like I never heard shit about sacrificing.
They talked about that before.
I muted my mic.
The thought process behind that was that in the articles in Wikipedia for it and shit, they would talk about in like Marble Hornets, which was a big Slenderman series at the time. And in Marble Hornets, there was like proxies, so people that worked for Slenderman.
Yeah. Yeah,
Under
they
his
were like
interests and were like kind of
targets
controlled
and
by
shit,
him.
targeted individuals.
They were wanting to become those, and they thought that to prove to Slenderman that they did, they would bring him a sacrifice.
This is funny
That is
because
so
I actually
retarded.
Yeah,
I actually
very
watched a documentary like on Facebook because I get like I'm not gonna lie, I'm like into like the murder shows in a way where I like to like I don't know, like there'll be the
like
interviews
true
of,
crime?
like yeah, I actually am into stuff like that, or like and so it started recommending me stuff like they were showing me the actual interview of the girl like in her interrogation room, like the two girls that murdered that girl, like she ended up actually dying if I'm correct. She didn't survive from her. She survived for a little bit, but
That's
ultimately
fucked.
died.
Somebody fact check that. Leonard, will you pull that up?
What is Leonard fact checking? I'll ask him.
I remember hearing one time that if one of the stabs
did
was
the
like,
girl that was attacked by in the Slenderman thing die?
Yeah, like
what's
she
the
ended up like
status?
getting out of the woods, but I'm pretty sure she ended up dying because of her wounds. Because
For some reason, I thought that she lived, but she could have died. She was
I'm pretty
stabbed
sure that's
18
not
times.
true because I'm pretty sure she survived and like had already recovered by the time.
yeah, I remember
Really?
reading somewhere that if one of the stabs was like literally the width of a big strand of hair was like close enough to her heart, she would have died. Like it was that close.
I remember watching like
I
the
heard
interrogation
something
of the
like that
girls,
sometime.
and they had that like it was the live footage. Like you could see the girl sitting there, like both of them. They took turns, and they were just talking about like how they fucking were. They just planned it. Like they were planning it, like hanging out with each other, and they really liked the girl.
Sleepover, wasn't
I can't. Yeah, actually, yeah, it was because the one girl. Actually, it might not have been a sleepover. I think they were just hanging out after school.
Leonard.
And the one girl.
Leonard tells me that it happened during a game of hide and seek.
Yeah. Well, that's because they were hanging out, and the girl had to go to her friends, obviously, and like they were hanging out. So all three of them were there. They were in her bedroom or something, and they were just They would talk about Slenderman a lot. And the one time that she actually cut. Oh no, I could be mixing this up with another one because there was one where like the two girls they like put her in the bathroom and they cut her one time, and she's like, oh, I did that on accident, and the girl just was like, okay, like it's weird. Can't believe you just actually cut me. And they ended up playing like hide and seek. And when they went out playing hide and seek. The little girl's brother, like was the brother of one of the girls, knew what they were doing because the mom later was like, "Where's my daughter? Where's my daughter?" And the brother was the only one that was like, "Oh yeah, three of them went out to the woods to play hide and seek."
Yeah, they're gonna kill her. No biggie.
Yeah,
Well,
so-
when he was younger, obviously he didn't know. They just always liked going out to the woods because they would try and contact Slenderman.
So here's what Leonard tells me, according to his research, is that she was stabbed 19 times with a 5-inch long blade. And they then told her to sit there and wait while they find help, and they just walked off. So she crawled herself to safety and was found by a cyclist, and it took her 7 days in a hospital to recover.
Okay, so I was wrong. I thought she did pass away. I probably am mixing it up with another story of like the three girls.
The two girls that stabbed her were found not guilty by mental disease or defect and committed to mental health institutions. One was sentenced to 25 years to life and the others to 40 years to life. One of them has been granted early release and will be under supervision until 37 years.
Yeah, this shit was
How old were they
crazy.
whenever this happened?
12.
I thought one of them was 13.
It's around that age.
Yeah.
Their
Doesn't
plan
matter.
Their plan was their plan was to stab her, and then they were going to go meet Slenderman at his mansion called Slender Mansion.
Oh, dude, this is cool.
In a national
Slenderman lore.
In a national
We're going to
forest.
Slender Mansion.
In a national forest that was 100-mile hike from their location.
So they were planning on hiking 100 miles away to Slender Mansion after they stabbed their friend.
They said they felt that the attack
19 times.
They said they felt the attack was needed to appease Slenderman.
Yeah, I remember that shit. Like the watching of the girl talk, like because the one girl was just like kind of snitching on the other girl in the interview a little bit. She was like, "Well, I think the girl's name was like Alyssa." She's like, "I really liked Alyssa, but like the other girl, I don't remember her name. Like the one friend that helped her stab her was like, but she was like convincing me like she never really liked her. She pretended to like her, but it was just like it had to be done."
Yeah, the one that was
they all say that. They all say that.
The one that was remorseless was diagnosed with schizophrenia as like just a couple years later.
Interesting. I kind of forgot about that whole case until someone said the trigger word Slenderman. And my whole body was like, someone almost died because of that.
On the same vein of creepypastas, was, have you guys heard those search and rescue fucking stories that came out like a year or two ago?
No, I've only read like the one creepy like hostile like dude you followed where he would like the anon stuff where it'd be like just anything. Like he'd be like a fire tower, like he'd sit in the fire tower and stuff like that. Weird stories. But like no, I don't.
Are you talking about some of the ones, Tristan, that deal with like park rescue services and shit?
Yeah, like
Some of
search
that
and
shit's-
rescue
I
and
think
like
some of that
stairs
shit's
in the
true.
woods and shit.
Okay, well, the stairs in the woods is like okay, there is blank stairways in the woods at some
What if
places.
it's from like previous houses?
That's factual information. No, the thing specifically with these blank stairways is they're usually made of concrete and there's no evidence of ever being attached to any structure.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that, but I didn't know like if
Is that a
people were just,
real
like,
phenomenon, or
That's
is
a
that
real
just something like
phenomenon.
an internet thing? Because I've never actually heard of people like reporting it in real life.
No, it's a real
Like
phenomenon.
I've only seen like Reddit posts about it, basically.
Because like that picture, you know, like the famous picture of it, you know which one I'm talking about, is an actual picture.
Yeah, I know, but I thought that was an art thing. Like I thought that was like confirmed to be like an art.
That one
installation
might be an
somewhere.
art installation, but there is like, if last number I heard was like there's at least 9 of them, and they're not like all in one location. They're kind of scattered about.
See, in this story series, they appear and disappear. Like you'll be walking through a section of woods, you know, fucking 15 miles out. That's not like, it'll be in a national park most of the time, or a state park, because that's where these stories take place. You know what I mean? They're park rangers' perspective or whatever. And it'll be in areas where like they've been before and shit. And like again, like you said, there's no reason for these stairs to be there. And in these stories in particular, they're associated with like bad shit happening. So there's like this weird sense of like unknown and like fear that surrounds them, because every time that people fuck with them, like people go missing, you know, or like they're found, but it's like body parts that don't make sense. Like they'll find, you know, fucking, you know, a thigh bone and a fucking arm bone in the top of their skull and shit, you know, just weird shit like that. Like, I think in the stories, they're also like implied to be like what's like glitches in the Matrix almost, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It kind of depends. So while I'm looking into it now, Leonard left, so I'm doing the research. It looks
not
like
Lenny.
Yeah, he'll be back. So, it seems like maybe that one picture is possibly of an art installation, and the rest are perhaps just stories, like phenomena explained. But it does look like there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It does look like there's 9 different phenomena explained throughout the world. 4 of them are in the U.S. Stories dating back to the 1940s of vanishing staircases in the middle of a wood.
Really? That's interesting. Dating back to the 1940s.
Yeah.
Back when we didn't know how to build staircases.
See, I heard of these stories before I heard of like Missing 411 and Dave Paulides and all that shit, which I've been deep diving into recently. I don't know if you guys, I think Preston has talked about him before, but he's the shit. And he I don't know, that's another really good topic. I don't know, fucking if we want to segue into that or not.
Not this episode, I
Yeah,
think,
here,
but-
we can talk about it another time.
So the article I'm reading talks about how there are, apart from photos as testimonials, which very few in truth, blah, blah, blah. There is, for example, a few staircases in the woods that seem to be unexplainable. One of the Pyramid of Bomarzo, or one on the Phnom Kulin Massif in Cambodia, which I'm looking at now, is maybe the one in Cambodia may be just an ancient ruins staircase.
I think the bottom line that I do want to get across to people talking about fucking stairs in the woods is if you see fucking a random pair of stairs in the woods, don't fuck with them, because everything that I've heard, bad shit will probably happen you.
Yeah,
like you'll get turned inside out.
According to stories, some of them literally like one person will go up and come back down and nothing will happen, and the next person will go up and just vanish.
There's one or a couple more that I've heard, like somebody went up and they were going to reach to touch a branch that was fucking within their grasp up there, and their fucking hand got sliced off, and as it was falling, disappeared. It never hit the ground. And then 15 years later, fucking that park had sold a section of the forest to a logging company, and they cut down a tree, and inside was a preserved human hand.
So let me ask you guys something, an honest question. I have a feeling we're going to have some disagreements here.
No.
Do you guys believe paranormal?
Yes.
To really any degree. You can explain the degree,
by
but
paranormal, do you also include religion, like God and stuff?
I think they're intrinsically connected, but no.
My thing is like I used to think. Okay.
So you're exclusively talking about like spirits.
The reason I think
ghosts.
they're intrinsically connected is because almost every religious belief system has paranormal beings in it, aside from like
cutting me off, you bastard.
But yeah, I'm absolutely a believer of. Wait, I'm sorry. Were you getting ready to talk?
Oh yeah, it just went silent for a second. I didn't know if I just got disconnected. I was like, what the fuck is that? But for me, I have like from what my mom and people in my family say, I used to tell them. I mean, I was a child, so children are fucking stupid. I used to like on my bunk bed. I used to put like blankets up on like tie them in like the what the fuck's it called? Like the one like the bed above, like the rods
bed?
or whatever. Yeah, well yeah, you know what I mean. But like the top where it connected, I didn't know if like I'd fucking be specific about the rods. So I'd put like my blankets in there and tie it, so I'd have like a fort around my bottom bunk, and I would literally just hide because I would tell my mom and like family members that like I saw dead people and I would talk to dead people, and it scared the shit out of me. So I literally would hide from them. I don't remember this very well. I remember like doing the blanket forts and like somewhat, but I thought maybe it's just because I was a child. I'm really stupid and I just was like scared. But yeah, like that happened throughout like first grade and kindergarten, I guess, and somewhat second grade. And so like I don't know. I used to be like believing in that, but now that I'm not really like religious, obviously, gotten like less to believe it. Mainly because I'm like, I just don't know how like I know ghosts technically, like but like paranormal, like spirits, whatever. I just don't know. Like I can't say because
I was going to say
my thing.
I wouldn't say that I think there is like 100%, but I'd say it's probable.
I think
the reason I don't
paranormal covers everything from like what you might think from like westernized Christian stuff, like demons and well, just demons are actually the only demons, angels and God are the only spirits that exist in Christianity. Like ghosts don't.
Right.
But in the West, there's a belief in ghosts. Fae is another like paranormal thing. Elves, dwarves are sort of
gnomes,
kind of stuff. Gnomes.
You're a fool if you don't think gnomes are real. Have you
even
seen
getting
the
into
doors in the White House.
Even getting into like Native American stuff, like skinwalkers and Wendigo. That's paranormal. Paranormal / supernatural. Believe in any of it. I'm not saying you have to believe in all of it.
Oh yeah, no. I think my thing is just like a lot of it, I guess, is because I'm a science man. I just don't really like. I think it's like our bodies like overreacting because we're like super hypersensitive to like just feelings in general. So I think it's just like you can like you trick your mind's playing tricks on you. Like you think into it. But I have had one fucking insane like paranormal like thing that's happened to me. This was when I was a sophomore, so like around 2018, I think, maybe the end of 2017. And I'm sitting in my room, and like my dad built me this like desk out of 2x4s. It's like it's a full desk. It's what my PC sat on, like a heavy ass PC. It's probably like 2 feet wide, and it's an L-shaped desk. My dad like screwed into the wall and everything, so it was secure. It held my PC and everything. Well, on the one side that's not my PC and like mouse, keyboard, monitor, I had my shoe collection of like all my Jordans sitting up there, like in the boxes or on top of the boxes, like, and they were like stacked where like they'd fall over, like they were secure. I'd rage. I'd hit my desk. It wasn't falling. I was laying in bed one day, just like fucking watching YouTube, and all of my fucking shoes flew off my desk, my boxes, everything flew off, and I was just like fucking terrified. I was what the fuck? Like what literally just happened? But I was just like, so right, like that was the most insane thing that's ever happened to me. But I was just like in my mind, like that didn't actually happen. Like I'm fucking like no, that didn't happen.
See, that's a symptom of shock, though, dude. Is being like, oh, it didn't happen. That's like a symptom that your brain uses to repress traumatic shit.
What about you, Stark?
It tells you like, no, dude, don't even worry about it because that's not real. That didn't happen.
See, I
put all my shoes back up. It was fucking crazy. Like so that's what I'm like. I'm like up in the air about it.
I can say I've seen some shit. Yeah, I remember as a kid, my mom, aunt, and all that. We were always like really big into just ghost hunting or whatever.
Right.
And we were out on the back roads one day, heading out just to drive by like a great grandma's house, like been abandoned for years, but it still stands.
Right.
Yeah.
And we drive by and we weren't going to get out or anything. We just drive by taking a couple pictures. And one of the I took 2 pictures that I remember like really well. I remember in one of the pictures it was just like the side of the house with the light outside, and that's literally all you saw. You just saw the picture of the house lit up, like not like lights inside, but like a street light outside. First picture looked fine, and the second picture I noticed something was standing like I remember this so vividly because I was like, holy shit, there was a shadow standing like on the side of the house that wasn't there in the picture before, and it was like an outline of a human, and there was nobody outside, nothing, and it was just there in one picture and not in the other.
So you believe in the paranormal? paranormal.
Oh yeah, I believe 100%.
So, without telling any of my stories, there's one person, Preston. What do you think?
I want to tell a story too.
Preston, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Do you think what do you think about the validity of paranormal stuff?
Here's my thinking on it. Okay, when we first started as cultures and societies and places were building up, and we started getting cities and actual progression, we thought all kinds of crazy shit that was not true, like the Earth was flat and that our human body was made of 4 different biles and shit like that. And then we found out it wasn't real. That shit was just what our science that we thought we understood wasn't. So I'm kind of the mindset that, like, yeah, we can explain a lot of shit with science now, but like anything we can't explain with science is probably not. I mean, if we understood the supernatural to a scientific degree, it wouldn't be weird to us, right?
Right.
It would just be normal. So,
and it's been studied, you know what I mean? So we should have answers for a lot of these things.
It could be. I'm not going to say it's not real because I don't know, but I will say, I mean, there's a fairly decent chance that it's just something we don't understand.
Well, that's the thing. Once again, right? I don't think it's. I think yeah. By definition, it's something we don't understand. Almost by with calling it the right. But I don't know necessarily. So here's the thing. I do believe in paranormal stuff. I do have certain beliefs about it that do kind of come from my Christian background. There's certain things that I don't fully know. Like there's a few things that I believe in 100%, and that is like the belief that demons exist. Now, as to like whether ghosts exist and what they are, and other supernatural beings and if they exist and what they are, I don't know. I'm a skeptic in that anyways. I think that there's stuff like, I think by explanation you can't trust information on the paranormal as well. The only paranormal, I've had 3 quote-unquote paranormal experiences. One, now these days I kind of rule as people. There's one that I'm like, that could have been, I was like waking up when I saw it, and I was like, maybe it was kind of like just a little bit of dream. It wasn't a sleep paralysis thing, but I was young and maybe it was the end of my dream / when I woke up. I don't know. The only one that I can't explain at all was watching a picture like come off of a wall. Didn't fall off a wall. It came off. And
like got lifted up off a nail?
Like off of a nail, and like with a velocity and a distance that wasn't like, it wasn't windy, it was so
non-explainable.
Yeah, it was,
non-plausible.
and it wasn't like freaky or anything, but I was with Anthony and he saw it too. He'll back me up because I remember he pointed at it, and I remember him and I looking at each other like, did you just fucking see that? And then we literally just shrugged it off and went like, well, especially since he was like, yeah, this place is haunted. So I like kind of understood that may be a thing there, but what seeing, like, that's the one thing to this day I'm like, I don't fucking know. And what it was at the time, Anthony's mom was splitting up with Anthony's stepdad, and they were moving to a different trailer across town, and I was helping them move. I think we were taking in like a grandfather clock or something, right? Anthony and I were carrying in something into the house, and she had a picture of her and her, now ex-husband, at times still married, but she was moving out of him, like Anthony's stepdad, right? She had a picture of her and Anthony's stepdad there on the wall. Now, this is the trailer that Anthony's dad died, right? This is their sort of like family house, right? And we were just carrying it in, and we had moved past the picture. We had closed the doors behind us, and that picture comes off the wall, like towards us. And Anthony and I just looked at each other and were like, that was fucking weird. And then like, that's it, right? Like, that's the only one that I'm like, no fuck clue what that was. Because it came a good like 3-4 feet off the wall.
What the fuck?
Yeah, shit like that where
crazy.
It's, you see it happen and it makes it a little different. You're like, okay, actually though, how did that happen? Like, what just happened there? What caused that?
And this was at a time where I was like not really solid in my faith either. Like that was a time when I wasn't looking, where like I was going out of my way to look for like normal explanations for things. And I remembered that happening, and just, I think one of the reasons Anthony and I were so nonchalant about it was because we were both like, that was fucking weird and so unexplainable.
When shit like that happens a lot of the time, you don't want to talk about it in the moment because it's fucking spooky. Like, you're already fucking scared. Like, why like try to dissect it? You know what I mean? You're like, okay.
I don't remember being scared either. I don't know. It was weird. I just remember it happening and being like, no fucking clue what that was. That was something fucking, and he'll back me up on this because we've talked about it. And to this day, we're both like, I don't know. That's weird. I've heard other people say that that house is haunted. I've not had any other experiences, and I've spent hours in there, but
Do you think that house is haunted?
I mean, I never felt any discomfort in it, so I don't think. Ugh, okay, so once again, I've explained I don't know what to feel about the more quote-unquote neutral spirits. You know, I don't know what to believe. I'm kind of more on the line of if ghosts are real, I don't think they're like human spirits. I think they're like residual energy or memories, kind of like implanted.
Yeah.
I don't think
Like
there's
a
any
psychic imprint?
I don't think there's any thought process to it. I think it's literally like the wind, if that makes sense. You know, it's just a natural process of like a historical thing or something moving through the area. Like, I don't believe in human spirits staying behind, right? I just don't. Not with, arguably maybe if something was forcing them to stay behind. Like, I'm kind of on the fence in situations where there's like stories of people being like, yeah, there's a demon haunting this place and it's controlling ghosts. And I'm like, well, maybe that kind of lines up. I don't know. But I don't know if it's haunted. I know his older brother always swore that he saw and heard a little girl once when he was like 7. I think Anthony said he's seen something there. I'm not even too sure if his younger siblings haven't said something, but just that one experience, and you know, that's like all there was to that house. Now, so obviously paranormal like ghost hunting shows are mostly fake, if not entirely fake.
I would agree.
Simply because
Mostly fake.
here's the thing. I don't necessarily think that they're using methods that people who do believe in that shit go do. So maybe some of it is, but they're making a buck on shock value, so you can't trust any sort of evidence shown to you on TV.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment.
That being
Because it's entertainment. It's supposed to be there to scare you and intrigue you and make you be like, well, you know, most of the time nothing even scary happens. It's just like music and them walking, you know what I mean? Them being like telling stories and shit.
Right. And it's why if you look at the evolution of like paranormal investigation shows, I think the most realistic one was like the original Ghost Hunters where it was taps and it was like, we spent 2 nights at this place and caught one maybe thing, right? And there's a couple times where they caught
a recording where it goes and they're like, did you hear that? He said he was going to rape us. That is the ghost of PP Raper.
Taps wasn't even like that. Taps, they were always extremely skeptical and I think respectful. Now that the show's back on, they're a little more, they're not like ghost adventures to the extreme of like
Ghost Adventures is entertaining. Like obviously, like yeah, like that shit's not.
That being
I don't
said,
think you should be watching that for research.
I don't think, how do I put this? I think a lot of that show's fake, but I definitely think that the people who make it, like Zach Bagans and like crew, I definitely think the issue they've come across is they might have gotten good evidence, but it is so fucking watered down because I genuinely think they believe in the paranormal, but I also genuinely think they fake stuff.
This is kind of like going off topic, I guess, a little bit. Well, not really. It's just a different type of like paranormal like talk. Fucking like it's YouTube, so I mean it's kind of fucking stupid and like people fake anything. But like there's like the videos of people like a dude just in his generic apartment or house, and he's just like, this bitch is haunted, and they'll set up his phone. And he's just sitting there like on his phone. Like they do this multiple times. Like he has multiple videos. I don't know who it is. It's like old school like type of YouTube, and all his fucking cabs just opening, slamming, like fucking. I'm like, oh, that's kind of weird, but like obviously this guy doesn't have, like, he's just a normal guy from what it seems. I can't be like, oh, I know. And it's like,
but you know,
that's like, what do you do to like sell, like, and you can see into the fucking cabinets and everything. It's like old ass like kitchen cabinets. It's just opening and slamming. I'm like, it's weird because like I can't, like, I'm not him. I don't know.
When I see footage and a door just opens or just closes, I'm like, eh.
Yeah.
But if it's when something opens and closes, and I'm like, I don't know, maybe he has something pulled up.
I know. Is there a motor set up? Like,
yeah,
you know, like you always got to be skeptical.
It's easy to explain if it's just one direction, but if it's 2 directions, it gets harder to explain. But
like that with that, what I was talking about, like there's just like shit all over in his kitchen, or like his pots and pans start flying off of like the fucking kitchen counter and shit.
No, I think
like,
that's I don't know. So what was I going to say? Oh, so like most people who like are tour guides at haunted places as well. There's all sorts of stories of them being like, I was a skeptic and didn't believe a single thing, but I've worked here and I've worked overnight in this place. I've changed my mind, you know? And I find it hard to believe that every tour guide at every haunted site is like, yeah, this bitch haunted, you know? I have trouble believing that everyone's convinced to like say that if it was a lie, you know? I used to, with my high school buddy Jake, go out to the graveyard, the local cemetery at like 1 o'clock in the morning. We'd sneak in and we'd try to capture like
From this isn't like what I do, but like I live literally like right now where I live down the street from the most haunted place in Ohio. It's the Ohio Mansfield Reformatory Prison. My grandpa actually was in prison there in like the 70s or so for what they think he killed his wife. He could have his ex-wife before my grandma. He could have gone away with it. We're not sure. He just watched her burn alive, so they think he did it because he got a hella insurance right after it. I can't say. I don't know. He is kind of a piece of shit, so he could be a little crazy. But fucking they do tour guides there now because it's like this place is haunted and you can go there and they'll pay you if you stay the whole night. Like the money that you give them, if you stay that night and like stay over for 24 hours.
No,
I think it's 24 hours. They'll pay you back your money if you can last that long. And like I don't know, they could be like setting people up, but like you can literally go. Everyone says like in the electric chair room, you can sit in the electric chair. Everyone's like, dude, like when you sit in that chair, it like you feel like a presence in a way. Like it fucking is scary.
And sure, and
That
how
could
much
just be
of that
hypersensitive.
is your mind playing tricks on you?
Yeah, 100%. I've never been there, but my cousins have, and they talked about how it was fucking insane, like the crazy.
I would love to do some like actual like legit paranormal investigation and live stream it all. That way,
it would be fucking cool to do some firsthand shit.
I'd like to live stream it all, so it's all like, look, you know, we're not cutting,
we're not
making cuts.
Shit.
Maybe make a cut and post it on YouTube or something, but it's also like, here's, you know, the video on demand. But also, I would, if ever I were to go, like, it would be really cool to go with like Ghost Adventures or, you know, like Sam and Colby on YouTube would be cool. But like make a legally binding document that's like, hey, whatever we're presenting here, we're presenting our truth to this, you know, like a legal contract is being signed that, you know, no one is in on some sort of hoax here, you know, post it out there online so that people can read over it. That's like, hey, here's the document we signed, here's what it is, you know, and then just see what happens, because it would be cool. It'd be like a behind the scenes look, but it's also a sort of thing that's like, let me hold whoever these people are to some sort of trustable to some degree standard.
We talking about
Ghost hunting. And once again,
came out of nowhere.
I don't know the validity of everything, right? But that stuff's always fascinating.
Yeah, no, me too. Like, yeah, for sure. My thing is, like, I'd quit, like, because I haven't had any experiences, but, like, those couple times, the shoe one was just the one that, like, I was like, oh, no, holy fuck, this place is, like, not haunted, but I was like, that's not normal. But, like, nah, it's okay. Like, that didn't happen. I mean, it did, but, I mean, who knows? I don't know. Maybe I can't explain it, like I said. Like, you can't explain that.
The cemetery I used to go to try to capture shit, we never caught anything concrete. One time Jake said that he smelt sulfur at a crossroads and wanted to get the fuck out, so we left. We caught a few EVPs that might have been something, but it was 1 o'clock in the morning on a graveyard slightly outside of a small town. It could have been an animal. I'm not real sold on any of it in retrospect, you know?
What does smelling sulfur have to do with anything?
That's
rotten meats and
demonic
sulfur are
associated.
demonic associated. Or sometimes just foreign spirits.
Also, crossroads
Are associated with demons and more specifically the devil.
Yes, and so the combination of those two side by side is just a bad omen.
Yeah, see, I didn't realize that, but that would be very uncomfortable.
Actually, now that I think about it, him smelling the sulfur, maybe I'm Mandela affecting it. I feel like maybe I smelt something, but I also don't remember it for sure. And I also kind of remember him trying to perform some sort of ritual and him being like, yep, I don't like this. And we got the fuck out before anything was completed. In retrospect, I don't know how much of that's true, right? Because you know how sometimes you can convince yourself that something was true and it's not. I don't know what the truth there is. I do remember leaving a place because he smelt something, but I don't remember if I did too. I'm leaning on the side of no, but I also kind of remember being like, sure. There was a time we didn't play with a Ouija board, and I never will. well, right? Because of like how Ouija boards supposedly work. But there was this sort of Japanese, like handmade Ouija board like thing that only did yes or no questions. It was supposed to be like a little boy, and you did it with a piece of paper. You write yes or no on the piece of paper, and it's a
I know what you're
quarter.
talking about.
And it's supposed to be like extraordinarily safe, right?
Oh, isn't that what they called like Charlie or something like that?
It wasn't.
Pencil
It
shit.
wasn't that because it
That shit is
was.
goofy.
It was a Japanese thing. Specifically, this one was.
Yeah, the Charlie
Now-
shit's so goofy.
The only thing I can swear to is that 2 of us out of the 3 of us who did this were not moving the quarter, but the one person I cannot account for is the one most likely to move it.
I need to follow your mom on Facebook, Skyler.
It's
This
so
is-
funny
I
you
was just
say
telling
that,
everyone that we were
that is
talking about
literally-
this.
That is literally what he said earlier. He's like, Dijon's gonna get on and be like, "You're Skyler, your mom."
She's got some nice fake tits.
I called it!
Looks like a
I
Fallout
called
Zero.
it! I called it! You guys want to wrap there?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
can.
Thanks for watching, anybody who did. Thanks for listening. If you listen to us on YouTube, make sure to like and subscribe. If you listen to us on any of the other platforms, to leave a rating, leave a review, etc. Please share this with other people. It is the fastest way for us to grow. I don't have anything to plug other than my Twitch. I am almost at affiliate, so I'd appreciate anyone stopping by at twitch.tv/epicprince15.
Oh,
Anybody else
do
got anything to plug?
Yeah, plug
Go
the
follow my
nut.
Instagram at derunheilige.
Yeah, last week we shouted out his birthday. Make sure you go follow him though. Same thing with
Oh
Skylar.
shit! You guys wished me a happy birthday last week.
Yes, we did. 'Cause
Yes,
we
we
recorded
did,
on your
my
birthday.
friend.
Make sure to go
Thank you.
follow Skylar on his Instagram as well. He's trying to regrow it at barspinninskev.
It's
Barspinninskev.
Barskin.
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 Damn it.
Yeah, he beat the CP allegations, so he's back on Instagram.
Yeah, you guys will never know about that story. Or maybe you will.
Uh,
Can we
probably
put up a
not.
picture of him in court?
just
Yeah,
as
put that picture up of him in front of the Twin Towers.
just as a quick add-on, if you want to watch the whole group stream or most of the group stream, most of them appear in my streams, and we've been playing some Gmod lately, Trouble in Terrorist Town. So if that sounds enjoyable, it's the closest thing you're probably ever going to get to a Let's Play. With that being said, have a good one, everybody.
Have a great night.
Bye bye.
Friends.